Hey everybody, this is LA Knight, and I am back with another review for you. But first, I'm going to inform you of where I'm at and what is happening. I probably sound better than the last review I recorded, which was for the replacement, because during the recording of the replacement, I was in the middle of essentially having a minor heart attack. As best as I can explain it, basically, I wasn't getting enough oxygen to my brain, and so I was having difficulty breathing and thinking and moving, and my hands and feet were numb. Now I am laying on the floor of my parents' living room, not on the actual floor because that is infested with dog fur, and apparently I am Mac, I can see you. And I am apparently allergic to their dog, which makes me sad because their dog is such a cute little baby. But so I've set up a pallet on the floor because I'm staying at my parents' house right now, me and my best friend, because we are Mac, I'm right here. I can see you. Stop. Because we are watching their house while they're on vacation. I am not going to post this until after they come back. But I'm also watching their cats. And so I've got my pallet that I set up, that I put together because my back hurts and I needed to lay down. And I figured while I'm laying down, I could probably record a review. But my mom's two cats are just sitting here staring at me. Mac is one of her cats. He's the one I was yelling at because he was staring at me and then he tried to bite my phone cord twice. So, and now he's going away. Nope, now he's going to where I have my clothes in my suitcase. Oh my god, this cat is obsessed with me. Why are you so obsessed with me? I know why. It's because I actually pet him. My mom does not, my mom has a bad back, and so she can't get on the floor with him, and so she doesn't pet him very much because he doesn't like hopping on the furniture. Astonishing, I know, since he's a cat. Anyway, so I actually just realized, unlike most of my reviews where I have the book like in mind when I start recording, I was laying on my pallet and then was like, you know what, I could record a review right now. And so I opened up the app and hit record, and then just now realized I don't know what book I'm actually going to be talking about. So I actually was told on Twitter today that I should do a podcast about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I really, really want to because I have a lot of feelings about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I know a lot about like the genre that it's in, portal fantasies and stuff. Like that's one of my things. You know, I have like I love books, right? But like certain books are like my big thing, or I have multiple big things. Special interests is the phrase used for autistic people. Um, but at the same time, the last time I commented on a major work of children's fiction in a possibly negative way, I believe it was Harry Potter, I got some death and rape threats. So I don't want to, but I do want to talk about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But because I don't want to, as well as do want to, I'm not going to do that today. So, instead, I want to talk about The Star-Touched Queen, which is one of my favorite books. I have 5 favorite books. It used to be when people asked me, like, what is your favorite book? I'd be like, I don't know. And then I'd get, like, really anxious because I had no idea what to say because I'd never had a favorite book. This was when I was a kid. Now I have, I think, 5. Shadow Shaper by Daniel Jose Older, Wintertide by Ruth Anna Emrys, Long May She Reign by Rhiannon Thompson, and Star-Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi. There's another one. Oh, and Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna McGuire. So yeah, I have 5 favorite books. I may have more than that, but I can't. And like my mom would be like, "You can't have more than one favorite." It's like, yes, I can. I absolutely can. I'll do what I want. Anyway, so The Star-Touched Queen is about this girl named Maya, and apparently, and it's set in like ancient India at an indeterminate ancient time, and apparently she was born under like a dark, dangerous cursed horoscope or something, and she, like, it was prophesied she'd be quote unquote touched by death. And so everyone treats her like dirt and like she's cursed or something, and they're really mean to her. And she's actually the daughter of a king, and so it turns out her father is like at war with a bunch of his neighbors, and they're trying to get the war resolved. And so he's like, here's what we'll do, we'll marry you to one of the kings. And she's like, oh, okay. But then she figures out actually what he's actually gonna do is marry her off to somebody that they're at war with, who he wants to kill because the person won't back down from the war. But his allies won't support him going to war with this person. So he's going to have her marry this guy, and then knowing that this guy is going to murder her, so that then he has an excuse. Her dad has an excuse to go and wage war on this guy with help. And so basically he's like, here, kill my daughter. Yay! And she figures this out, and her dad's like, look, I love you. I love you. And I'm like, do you? Really? I don't know. Do you? I don't think you do. But he's like, I love you. And, you have to you're a princess, and you understand duty, and you have to do what's right. And I'm like, okay. Well, then this super hot guy shows up along with all the other, warlords that her dad's at war with. But her dad doesn't see this guy. Nobody notices this guy. A fight breaks out, and the guy is like, hey, you, Princess Maya, come with me if you want to live, basically. And she gets on his horse, and he's like, so basically we're married now. And she's like, oh, okay, who are you? And he's like, and he gives a name that's not his actual name. And so then they leave, and they go through like a magic portal into a magical world, and it turns out that he is the god of death. So this is like Hindu Hades Persephone. He's the god of death, and he's been in love with her for, you find out, thousands of years. And the reason that her horoscope said she would be touched by death is because she's the reincarnation of the night goddess. And the night goddess and the death god were married for a long time. Now, she doesn't know that because she doesn't have her memories, and there's like this whole thing about how she has to get her memories back and has to unlock her powers and stuff. So it's like a mix of Hades and Persephone and Beauty and the Beast, and which sounds like I'm talking about Akamath, but I'm not. A lot of people didn't like it because, well, actually, probably a lot of people didn't like it because they're racist, but they say you should never read the reviews on Goodreads, and this is probably true because a lot of people leave stupid shit reviews on Goodreads. Like I read a review once of the book Ivory and Bone, which is about cave people, where the person who wrote the review was like, I'm annoyed that this book uses words like parka, because everyone knows that parkas were invented in like the 50s. And I'm like, parka is a word from an indigenous language and has been used in multiple prehistoric award-winning novels for like decades. That is my phone. That is my friend texting me because I told her she's at her house doing her laundry, and I told her that that I was lonely because there's nobody here except me right now. I'm here while she's doing laundry at her parents' house because somehow either she or my husband broke my parents' dryer. Not sure how that happened. Anyway, that is my friend again. Okay. Anyway, has this been going the whole? Okay, good. I thought for a second it like lost the sound of my voice, but it didn't. Oh my God, Mac, stop it! I'm looking right. Ow, God, that hurt. I need to learn how to snap properly. Stop it! I'm looking right at you. Leave Dora alone. Yes, you leave Dora alone. My mom has 2 cats, brother and a sister, and their names are Dora the Explorer and Machine, aka Dora and Mac. Mac is fluffy and a pain in the ass, and Dora is timid and slinky. She used to be the brave one, but not so much anymore. Normally she hides in my dad's office, but my dad's not here right now. So, anyway, so the review was like, I think this book is terrible because this is just one example of why this book sucks. And I'm like, you clearly have never read any book in this genre before. And the person was like, yes, I have actually. I've read The Clan of the Cave Bear and I loved it. And I'm like, then why didn't you have an issue with using the word parka then? And she was like, yeah, that's what I thought, bitch. Anyway, so, never read reviews on Goodreads. But, so I did, though, because I used to do this. I'm a glutton for punishment for some reason. And I can never stop myself from getting in arguments normally. And so normally I just, like, mute certain words, like on Twitter and stuff. You can't do that on Goodreads. So I saw multiple reviews for this book where people were like, well, this book was kind of okay, except that it reads a lot like Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. And then they would like go on to explain the reason why is because the female lead is reincarnated. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, Max, shut up. I'm trying to talk. And I'm like, what? And like, this is, the people said this. They're like, yeah, it's practically this is plagiarism because like, in Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Karu is reincarnated and finds out she's reincarnated because she runs into her long lost forbidden love. And in this book, Maya is reincarnated and finds out because she runs into her long lost forbidden love. And I'm like, okay, first of all, that is like a really common trope. So first, that's not even plagiarism, first of all. Second of all, Amar is his name, I think, or Aram. I'm not dyslexic. I know I'm not dyslexic, but occasionally in my memory, I mix up consonants. And so, like, I have an issue with, like, names like Amar and Aram. Like, I can't remember which one it is. So we'll just say death. I'm like, first of all, Maya and death are not forbidden. Like, you'd think it would be, but it actually never comes up. When they were together before, it wasn't forbidden, before she gets reincarnated. Back when she's the night goddess, that's not forbidden at all. But unlike in Daughter of Smoke and Bone, where Madrigal and Akiva are not supposed to be together because their species are at war with each other, like, this is completely different. And I'm like, also, this is about Hinduism. Reincarnation is a thing in Hinduism. It's like I don't want to say a major tenet of their religion because I don't know enough about Hinduism to say that. But I mean, I know it's there. I know that they have reincarnation in their religion. So I'm like, really? Plagiarism? Really, you racist motherfuckers? Because, I mean, that's really... maybe people don't realize that that's kind of racist, but basically it is, because Laini Taylor is a white author. She's not Hindu. She doesn't believe in reincarnation. I don't know if she believes in reincarnation, actually. She's never actually come out and said what. Max, shut up! I don't know what he wants. But it is very common for white people. He is right next to my feet. Yeah. Meow, meow. 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 Yeah, you want to come here? You want to get pets? You want me to pet you? If you want pets, get over here. If not, then shut up. Yeah, okay, fine. Get in the chair. It is very common and not just in like the publishing industry, but just in general, for white people to be lauded for things that people of color get kicked in the ass for, even if those things are things that, people of color have been doing a lot longer. And so again, Hinduism, reincarnation is a thing in Hinduism. Roshani Chokshi, Roshani Chokshi did not steal the idea of reincarnation from Laini Taylor. Like, that is such racist bullshit. Oh my God. So this book didn't get a lot, or this book got, I think it's got like 3 stars on Goodreads, because there's a lot of like 1 and 2 star reviews that accuse her of like plagiarizing, where they're like, oh, she plagiarized Sarah J. Maas because her, young princessy character falls in love with, like, death/night incarnate, some dark god. And I'm like, there's so little between Maya and Feyre that is comparable. I don't even know what the fuck you people are talking about. Different ages, different races, different, family backgrounds, different ranks in society, different relationships with their family. Now, granted, Feyre's relationship with her family is pretty fraught also, but that's more abuse. Like her family doesn't think she's cursed, they're just assholes for the most part, and her dad has like severe depression that I guess makes him be neglectful and kind of an asshole, whatever. Like, I don't know, the comparisons that I've seen drawn between the Star-Touched Queen and other really popular books as like a negative against the Star-Touched Queen are like super ridiculous. And like, the thing with the reincarnation, oh, she's copying A Court of Mist and Fury because, Feyre falls in love with, the god, the Prince of Night, and Maya falls in love with the god of death. I'm like, those are 2 completely different concepts, first of all. And then, like, a bunch of people, I guess, didn't realize, even though the book was marketed as a Hades and Persephone retelling, that it was a Hades and Persephone retelling. And so a lot of them were like, this is a ripoff of Hades and Persephone. And I just wanted to, like, facepalm so hard. Mac, if you want me to pet you, come here. I think he actually wants me to feed him. But I laid down because my back hurts, and getting to his food bin is very difficult. He can wait. He won't die. He's kind of chunky anyway. He can wait 20 minutes. And then, what was the other one that they said? So there was one about, there's a thing about reincarnation. There was a thing about, oh, the other one was the prose. Now, which was weird because, like, most of the complaints about the prose were the same reviews that were like talking about how like Daughter of Smoke and Bone was so much better, and different other books that had really lyrical prose in them. And then this book has really lyrical prose in it. Now some of it turns out, I also recently read the prequel novella, which is called Night and Death, or Death and Night, one of the two. And it's about how the god of death met Maya the first time when she was still the goddess of night. And so some of the things that I'm going to say Aram says to Maya in The Star-Touched Queen don't quite make sense. They sound cute or interesting or, magical. Like at one point he says, "You look like edges and thunderstorms." And I'm like, is that a comment on like her disposition? But actually, and like it could read that way if you hadn't read the prequel novella, but then it turns out no, actually, the goddess of night could change the way her skin looked, and so the first time or the second time he met her, she had like a thunderstorm displayed across her body, and he was like, and so he said that she's like, "How do I look?" And he's like, "I think you look like edges and thunderstorms." Now, when I didn't read the novella first, I read it after I read The Star-Touched Queen. And because I read The Star-Touched Queen back when it came out, and I read Death and Night, I want to say like a few months ago. I had it on hold at the library for like 10 months. Oh my god, it was terrible having to wait that long. And so when I heard, it was an audiobook, when I heard him to say that to her, like my brain went, wait a minute, and then I like rewound it and listened again, and I was like, oh my god, that's from the thing, oh my god, and I got super excited because I'm a total nerd. And so like people complained about that, like, oh my god, the prose is so purple, and I'm like, this is such a lush and lyrical and poetic book. I mean, it's like eating poetry. It's like turning poetry into ice cream and eating it. It's so nice. And it's not for everybody. That kind of writing style is not for everyone. This is why Francesca Lia Block is not like super ridiculously popular like Sarah J. Maas or Stephen King. But Francesca Lia Block is one of my favorite authors also. None of her books are a favorite book, but I like almost everything she wrote before the year 2004. After that, I feel like she lost her touch a little bit. But anyway, so it's not for everyone, but there's nothing wrong with it. Like people being like, oh my God, purple prose. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay to not like something, but you don't have to be like, this author sucks and I'm never going to buy anything from her again and she's a hack just because you don't like that particular style. I mean, that's like saying that like anchovies on pizza, people who make anchovies on pizza, are going to hell because you don't like anchovies. Like, it's okay not to like anchovies, but you don't need to be such a dick about people who do, So there's that. But the reason The Star-Touched Queen is one of my favorite books. I actually wrote a written review of this and put it on my Tumblr years ago. A couple years ago maybe. I think I was still working when I did that. And I will link it in the doobly-doo below, hopefully, if I don't forget. So that you can see, like, the aesthetic that I made and see, like, why it's my favorite, but, like, more in-depth detail. But one of the biggest things was this was the first book that I had read ever. Ever? Yeah, ever. Where the main character was just like me. When I was a kid. I mean, obviously I'm not a 17-year-old girl anymore. Wish I was, but I'm not. Max, shut up. Oh my God, he sounds so sad. Makes me want to cry. He's so lonely sounding, but then, like, you try to pet him and he runs away. He used to be feral, so, I mean, they both were feral. Dora, get off the counter. Dora. You know what? I don't even care. Get down. Go on. Get down. Problem with Dora is that she's afraid of things, and so she doesn't know how to get off the counter. Dora, get down. There she goes. Good girl. Yeah, Maya was just like I was when I was a teenager, and I'd never read that before. And I've actually never, I think that's the only book where I've read that. The closest before that was Vanielle from the Heralds of you know what? That's what I should do a review about next. Anyway, is Vanielle, Harold Vanielle from the Heralds of Valdemar series by Mercedes Lackey. He was close, but I am not a gay 14-year-old boy. Or 17. No, he's 16. I'm not a gay 16-year-old boy either. And I'm much closer to a 17-year-old girl than I am to a 16-year-old boy. So anyway, Maya is, the way she deals with the abuse that she endures, because, like, her father's wives are like, she's cursed and she has no shadow and don't let her touch you because then, like, your babies will die and shit like that. People used to say that about me when I was in elementary and middle school. In high school, it changed from, like, she'll curse you into oblivion to things like, don't talk to her, she eats babies, which I was like, it was only annoying because my English teacher had a really cute baby and I wanted to hold him and his wife wouldn't let me. Excuse me. My English teacher didn't care, but his wife was like, don't let her touch the baby, and he was kind of like, really? Anyway. Yeah, people were, like, afraid of me. There were rumors going around about me when I was in school. Part of it was because I was Wiccan and we lived in the Bible Belt. And so, like, oh my God, she's a witch. And the way that Maya handled the things like that in her series, or in her book, versus the way I did in my life, it was very similar. Like, eventually you learn to cultivate the fear that people have for you to keep them from taking that fear and doing something worse with it, to you. And the thing is it's a very fine line that you have to walk when you do that, um, because if you push them too far, then they'll just go crazy and suddenly you've got people like who want to beat you up or kill you or whatever. But if you don't push them far enough, then you might wake up one day with like shaving cream in your hair. That happened to me. More than just shaving cream. There was a lot of, yeah, it was bad. But I made sure that that never happened again by being very, very violent in my reaction. So it was just, I remember as I was reading it, like Maya has multiple run-ins with abusive adults and abusive other kids, or I shouldn't say other kids, like sisters and young wives of her dad, and servants and things, and the way she handles them, I was like, oh my God, this is just like me, which was ridiculous because I'm Mormon and I was an adult when I read this book. And, I'm autistic. I am not a Hindu. I am not Indian. I am, like the only thing we have in common is our gender. But when I read it, I was like, oh my God, it's me. And I actually tweeted at Roshani Chokshi and was like, this is the first time I've ever read a character who was this close to me before. And she was really, really glad that I had reached out. She was very happy that she had managed to do that. And I was just like, this is so amazing. So like I think I read the book and then I reread it like 2 times right after that. And it's just such a good book. And a lot of people didn't like it, as I said, because, reincarnation. Now, one thing was, people said that there was some slut shaming in the book because she doesn't get along with the head wife, her father's head wife, who is not her mom. And they have an exchange where the head wife basically tells her to stop putting ideas in her younger sister's head, stop spreading certain ideas, and Maya makes a comment about better to spread ideas than to spread legs. And on the one hand, like, people are like, that's slut shaming, but I'm like, you know what? If it is not slut shaming to say that it is better to think for yourself than to let yourself be forced into a role where the only thing you have to offer, the only reason you are valued is because you have a vagina. Like, that's not a bad thing to think. People should be valued for more than just their genitals. Just saying. Oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. Anyway, I've been talking for a while. My clocky thing says that it's been 28 minutes because I speed this thing up so that you guys don't have to sit through all of the ums and the spaces of me swallowing and gathering my thoughts. It's probably going to be more like 25 minutes, but still. So yeah, that's my review of The Star-Touched Queen. Like, basically this book gets a lot of hate for stupid reasons. It's really, really beautiful. Like, I'm not even kidding. The prose is so beautiful. I mean, the story's not like super complicated. Because I don't have a lot of grounding in Hindu mythology, I couldn't call the plot points as well as I normally can, but it wasn't like, things were coming out of left field and there was no foreshadowing, but it also wasn't super predictable. But I don't know if the reason it wasn't super predictable was because I don't know much about Hindu mythology or because it just wasn't predictable. I'm not sure. But, I really liked it. I loved the different magical things that she runs into. Like, she goes to the night bazaar at one point and sees all these neat things. And I'm like, you know what? I would like a story just where, some kid goes to the night bazaar and just looks at shit and then goes home. Because my depression's been trying to kick my ass lately. I've been very tired and haven't really had a chance to consume a lot of emotionally intensive media. And so, which is interesting because I'm watching Supernatural with a friend of mine. but she literally lays out everything that happens in the episode before we watch it, so it's less emotionally distressing than it would be if she didn't do that. But I'm like really looking for soft fiction right now. You know, things that don't require a lot of emotional pain and intensity. And so like something like that, you know, like let us go on a tour of the night bazaar and look at all the pretty things. Like that would be like my ideal short story. I really wish she would write something like that. But she's busy doing the Gilded Wolves sequel, I think. Anyway, so the book is really, really good. I really like it. It got a 5.25 stars out of 5 stars for me. The prose is beautiful. I don't know, like I like it. Like I said, it's like if you turned poetry into ice cream, into like gourmet ice cream, and then got to eat like an entire bowl. You wouldn't want to eat like more than one bowl, but the one bowl is just like heaven, and you know, heaven on a spoon. It's amazing. So anyway, you guys should read it. And again, that's The Star Touched Queen by Roshani Chokshi and Roshani Chokshi. Gosh, um, and she's also a really nice lady, so you should check her out. And shout out to my patrons: Amanda, Cawti, Chelsea, Cynthia, Gwen, Lina, Lorien, who's the one I'm staying with right now, Marian, Morgan, Shinuka, and Tina. You guys make it so that I can actually do this when my health is up to it, and I appreciate all of your support. Press the like button if you love me, subscribe for more of me, and, you know, definitely let me know if you guys have read the book, what you thought of it. Any books you might want me to look into, I'll see, you know, if they fit with what I can do. You know, just like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. And remember, you are loved and you're doing great. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!